We are live. We are live. Web captioner, are you working? Oh yes, we are. Web captioner is working. So anyway, hello once again, everyone. Wait, let me move this. Yeah, hello everyone. Once again, this is DAZEL, and we are on yet the third part 3 of Dry Drowning. So last week I guess I made some choices at the end of the second chapter, which I have no idea how that's going to work now. This is definitely going to places that I have no idea where it's going, but that's how it be, right? Your consequences, your choices matter. There are consequences to your actions. Alright, chapter 3. Let's start and see what has happened. Well, we don't have there's no cutscenes like the start of the second chapter. Maybe this is the cut. Oh, here you are, right on time as always. The city is collapsing and you keep smiling like nothing's happened. I'm starting to believe that you're the real monster here, David. What can I say? I'm a simple man who likes to stay positive. Sorry for the short notice, but as you can imagine, the destruction of Aqua OS does not facilitate communications. Especially in a particular case like yours. Just tell me what I want to hear. You should mind your attitude, you know. Anyway, the plan seems to be working as expected. The plan? And I highly doubt that anyone would suspect you. Especially now that the Black Bands are exploiting Baker's death to strengthen their power and avoid the Civil War. I believe it's only a matter of time before someone gets killed. That's when things will get interesting. I wouldn't expect any less from them. Although it's so unfortunate that our friend left us so soon, isn't it? He paid me in advance, so it doesn't bother me. Tell me, does the girl know anything about this? Of course not, but I'm sure she will be on our side. She wants revenge more than anyone, after all. Excellent. But I want to know the most important thing now. Did you manage to convince those two to trust us? Nope. No, I tried, but he wouldn't hear of it. I see. Then you know what to do. It seems those two are doing their best to get killed. There's no going back, David. I hope you realize that. Why would I back out now that the fun is about to start? I'm not even thinking about that. Alright then, let's get this revolution started. Oh boy. I guess we might have chosen the wrong thing to not trust. Foley investigation 6 years before. Oh, this is a flashback case? Oh. Oh, Mordred, wow. Mordred looks so much younger. Do we really have to do this? I hate this kind of things. We just caught the most dangerous killers in the city. You can't expect the press to leave you alone. Am I wrong? Or were you the one to torment me with stuff like, I'll show them who the loser is. When I catch him, they will come crawling back. You'll see. Maybe. Come on, Mordred. Just try and relax for a moment. Easy to say, but I can't since you forced me to quit smoking. So ungrateful. I'm worrying about your health when you talk like that. Now stop mumbling and give me a smile, for once. Come on, things are going to be great, right? They are not going to be great, as we all know now. Take a deep breath and smile. Is there a definition of true happiness? It's like asking an old wolf to go vegetarian. Huh? Is that David? Oh. You should know I'm a big fan of dramatic entrances. Well, the gang's all here. Welcome back, Leon. Who's Leon? No man can cause out without a purpose. The system is unable to show the requested data. Leon Bassett is a police officer in the homicide department. No further information available. We apologize for the inconvenience. That's probably because we fucking destroyed Aqua OS. And I was hoping not to see your ugly mug, at least during celebrations. I'm starting to believe that you're trying to get hired here instead of working with those monkeys at the police station. I doubt you'll be able to keep the label of hero of Nova Polemos for long if you behave like that. Like I give a damn. I can't tell whether it's false modesty or just lack of judgment. It's always the worst option when it comes to Mordred. If you're done making fun of me, I'd like to know what the hell you're doing in our office. Why are you not celebrating in some pub with a few girls? I mean, it's also thanks to you that we solved the case. And you're much better than me at being a hero, anyway. Don't worry, I'm going to celebrate soon. But first, I had to grant Hera's wish. What do you mean? Your lovely colleague asked me to take a picture to commemorate such an important day. Can't tell if Leon's going to be a sacrificial lamb or if he's like the wolf in sheep's clothing. Huh? A picture? Aren't those on the papers enough? You mean those where you look like a dead man walking? Or maybe those where you try to crush that reporter's camera? That one's my favorite. You idiot. You're the one that went for the deluxe handsome rogue package. You're not allowed to complain. I'm pretty sure they delivered only half the package. What do you mean by that? I guess we are ready, huh? Come on, lovebirds, strike a pose. Come here in the middle and smile. Just let it out. Show some pride and try to look serious. Next time I see this photo, in like 5 or 6 years, the only thing I want to remember is... Aww. Simpler times. Damn, you've aged badly, Mordred. Chapter 3. The only thing worth fighting for. Oh, we actually have the chapter in the front now. September 26, 2066. Foley investigations. Mordred, are you alright? Yeah, I was just thinking about the day we took that picture. Oh, you mean the one Leon took? It's been a while, huh? Souvenir picture. This photo was taken at Foley Investigations the day after what seemed to be the resolution of the famous Pandora case. The same day Jennifer Kingston and Robert Harrington were executed in the electric chair. Nostalgia and regret strangle men with a golden thread. I wonder how long we'll be forced to live off memories to find a little happiness. At least, since Aqua OS has been destroyed, they can't accuse us anymore. Speaking of that, some files are currently being uploaded again to the database, although including less and fragmented information. Oh, really? Yeah, Eugene's virus erased everything but the big brains. Eugene's virus erased everything but the big brains that Hephaestus restored part of the data with basic and obsolete information. I wouldn't trade places with the police right now. After what they put us through, I take that as a personal victory. Not a complete one though, considering that from now on we're going to have a hard time finding information about the past. To be honest, if I had the chance to talk to you, I would have stopped you. By the way, have you heard anything about Dean or the consequences of the revelation of the android's existence? Nothing. Both the police and Hephaestus did what they could to keep the matter off the grid. Although, as Dean said, given the current situation, they will never be able to recreate the professor's research. Still, I can't stop worrying about that poor girl. We've got better things to do than think of a stupid machine. At this point, the facts related to the professor are the least of our problems. Are you talking about the internment of unemployed people and refugees in the city's outer areas with the excuse of the bomb? Yeah, they are passing them off as simple interrogations for now, but I'm afraid things might get worse real quick. You think it's just a matter of time before we go back to the disasters of the past? This won't happen, not as long as there's breath in my lungs. In case things go south, we'll live this down, I promise. How? Borders are still highly controlled, and we're not exactly strangers to public security. The police are protecting us, but they'll never help us escape. It would be too risky for them. Sometimes I think the city walls were built not to protect us from the outside, but to hide the monster within. There's no point worrying before major acts of violence occur. They're just flexing muscles right now. Besides, interments only concern the unemployed and illegal immigrants, a small minority of the population. And when they are done with them, who do you think they'll come for? Huh? A message from Leon? Are you kidding? After all this time? What's it say? Damn it, this thing is terribly slow. How long does it take to fix it? Well, I guess that the main system was damaged alongside the data. He wants to meet in District 6 tonight. Alone. District 6? Why so far away? Because that's where the island is. The island? Why does he want to go back to that cursed place? What is the island? This huge building is located in Nova Polemos, District 6, and was initially intended as a way to rezone the area. Due to the increasing number of elders who were failing the Patterson test, the area was turned into an accommodation center, counting more than 2,000 residents. Access is not allowed to the public. No further information available. Please contact her fastest tech customer service to receive assistance. He wouldn't do that if it wasn't something important, especially since we haven't been in touch for more than 5 years. You think he still hates us? Quite possibly, but it's worth trying to talk to him. Also, he says he has something to do with Pandora. Pandora? Isn't it dangerous to talk about this kind of stuff over Aqua OS? Since we blew up all the data, they cannot track messages properly, so we're fine. Maybe we should inform Freya, just to be safe. I prefer not to involve her, if we can. The glove thing is not entirely resolved yet. I'm going to contact her later on, just to know if she has any news about her Festus and those emails. Do you think she's made any progress? I hope so. Anyway, we should start getting ready or we won't get there in time. Alright, let's go. Those are not her flowers. Okay, this game is a little bug. Alright, yeah. Can we play Be a Good Citizen still? Oh, we can. Alright, let's just do a quick one. But I also don't want to. Play this for too long. That's not the way. This has to be here. Wait, no, I want you here, here. This can be here, like this. This can be like this. There we go. Alright, that's enough of that. Okay, let's move. Let's go to the island, I guess. September 26, 2066. Sicilian Plaza, District 6, Nova Polemos. We're here, finally. I hope what he has to say is worth a 2 hours drive. This place has changed so much in the last few years. Oh. Oh god, that's Leon. Wow. He has let himself go. After what happened a few years ago, renovating the area was the least they could do. I didn't expect to see you until your funeral. Long time no see, old friend. Leon, it's you. Hell, look at you. You're in terrible shape, dude. You're looking like a ghost. It's all your fault that I'm in this state, you sick bastard. Please, it's our fault. Let me remind you that you accepted when I proposed to. Stop it already. We suffered long enough because of that, so please. He previously became famous for being successful in a case within District 6. No further information available, yeah. Alright, let's get to the point then. Why do you bring us here? Because I wanted to talk to you away from prying ears, and because I need your help with something that's going on here, on the island. You said it was about Pandora though. Indeed, the two go together. Great, you have my attention then. Start explaining. Let's investigate this area first. A column dedicated to the founding fathers of Nova Polemos. This intimidating statue seems to be a reminder of how the park visitors are under constant surveillance. But then why are we here then if you want to say we are away from prying whatever and whatevers? A memorial dedicated to the refugees who got killed by border patrols during the years of the Great Immigration. A small case. Small case? That is not a small case. A small case containing some dossiers about the history of Nova Polemos. That is not a small case. There's only a few birds left in Nova Polemos, mainly due to high pollution and lack of places in building a nest. Alright. Alright friends, let's speak. The island. As Hera said, this district has changed a lot. There were abandoned factories. There were abandoned factories and public housing only up until 7 years ago. Now the area has been completely renovated, and they built a gigantic square around that open air concentration camp they call the island. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? This is the only location on the outskirts of Nova Polemos that doesn't smell like piss, and they fill it with a bunch of old and useless people to slave away. Concentration camp? What do you mean? Don't you know? People here were forced to leave their houses, and now they are living in huts until they kick the bucket. In the meantime, they have no choice but to work without getting paid, in exchange for room and board provided by the government. Wait, I might be wrong, but from what I know, the island is merely a shelter for homeless or jobless old people. That was before the accident. Then something changed, and the owners suddenly realized that this place wasn't profitable enough. So now all properties owned by those old people who failed the Patterson test are taken over by the government. Amazing, isn't it? And people let all of this happen right under their noses? You should know by now that our citizens are only looking out for those four walls they call home. They wouldn't lift a finger unless it involved them personally. And we're talking about old and senile people, so... why would they even bother to renovate this place then? Because appearance is all that matters, Foley. Despite being a burden now, they have contributed to build this country. The island is the ideal place to let them slowly rot, because it's far away and no one can get in without permission. Also, this way the facility will look good in the TV news report. It will look in the TV news reports, reassuring citizens. Reading. Also, this way the facility will look good in the TV news reports, reassuring citizens. And here you go, the masterpiece is ready. This is a slaughterhouse made of gold, or rather, an appetizing sweet that tastes like shit. And they even dare to print flyers. An advertising flyer about the services of the island, emphasizing how the elder will be able to live in harmony while staying socially active. The voice of evidence is deaf to the years of propaganda. I would like to make this quite clear. I'm still holding a grudge against you, and I'm not going to forgive you anytime soon. Like I give a flying fuck. I'm here for the information you promised, that's all. Are you really going to fight again? Damn it, you're so childish. 2 innocent people died, my work and personal life has been hell in the last 6 years, and all because I listened to you. If I hadn't submitted that evidence, this would have never happened. Oh. You knew there was no other way to frame them, and even you thought they were guilty. Only because you messed with my head. Are we supposed to talk about more important things? Or are you guys going to punch each other in the middle of the street? Believe me, I love to. Unfortunately, I'm still a police officer. Oh, please accept my apologies then, Mr. Policeman. Now let's move on. Pandora. You said you had news about Pandora. Spit it out. "3 days ago, when I got home from work, I found this piece of paper under my door. Do these numbers mean anything to you?" Huh? What kind of note is this? Wait a minute. September 26th at 9:30 PM. If I remember correctly, this is the date when Pandora killed that guy on the island. Exactly. Today is the 6th anniversary of his death. Or rather, it will be in just over 1 hour. The piece of paper where you can read September 26, 9:30 PM, the island, written with pieces of newspaper and total lack of imagination. The final bell rings for everyone, yet for some of them does it twice. Are you beginning to see why I called you here? This is some twisted joke, right? I doubt this is just a stupid prank by some idiot. There's no public precise information on that murder, let alone the exact time. So, who wrote it? Don't tell me. Yes, Pandora himself. Hold on, since when does Pandora announce his next moves? Is this some kind of perverted masochism? Well, I think nothing is going to happen. What I learned from this note, though, is something else. Pandora's following us, and he seems to be taking an interest in us, now more than ever. So I wanted to ask you, will you be willing to come with me on the island and wait for the time indicated on the note? As I said, maybe nothing will happen, but in the meantime, you could tell me about the Varigarian or the Hephaestus case. Are you asking us to share the information we've collected on Pandora? Well, yes, exactly. I know there's bad blood between us, but at this point we are forced to work together. As they say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So what's your answer? What do you think, Mordred? I guess Leon is right. As much as I hate to admit it, we need him. But it's risky to share too much, given how much he still despises us. What should I do? Ah yes, time to decide again. I mean, there's no point hiding it at this point. Maybe you're right. It's useless to fight each other now. I'll tell you what we found. I'm glad we come to an agreement. Where shall we begin? I never pictured that it would be this bad. Now I see why no one wanted to talk about Detective Golso, nor about what happened at Hephaestus. Those bloody bastards did everything they could to keep me out. Oh. Well. What the hell? It came from the island! Who are you? This is the police! Let us through and don't let anybody out! Gas? Is that gas? Oh. Damn it, we're too late! We must inform my colleagues and close up the entrance. I won't let the bastard go this time. Stay here, Mordred, and see what you can find out. I'll make sure to close the gates. This scene is the same from 6 years ago. Go, Hera. I'll handle this. I'll fetch the police. How far can your sadism go? Pandora? Yes, but this time you won't get away. This hellhole has only one entrance and all exits are recorded. The murder happened at 8:30 PM and no one left the building. He fell into his own trap. But how could a meticulous killer like him make such a huge mistake? Whatever the reason, we better start investigating. You might want to know more about the dynamics of the case first, don't you think? Will you be so kind to share that information with us? How could I say no to a smile like that? What would I do without you? Before I forget. We wanted to thank you for letting us through without filling in all those useless files. Just doing my duty. And we promised to take him down together, didn't we? Alright. Oh god, this is like flashback. It's like the forward and backwards at the same time. While in the past, you won't be able to use evidence from the future, and you will find clues that might be helpful for the current case. All information will be collected in documents. You can read them at any moment, both in the present and in the past. Situation on the island. Is the situation here really under control? Are you sure no one left after the murder? As I said, each entry and exit is recorded, and when the alarm went off, the doors were immediately shut. This place is like a fortified maze. The walls are so high that it's just impossible to escape. We are completely sure that every guest and worker who was here last night is still locked up inside. I can only imagine the pressure these poor old people are subject to. I hope we can get things sorted out quickly. They are here because they don't have a place to live, after all. We got our own problem to deal with right now. There's no point worrying about something that's not our concern. What do you know about the victim? His name is Terry Oath, son of Maximilian, the founder and director of the island. Ooh. Mastua Vetamir. No, Terry was the firstborn of Maximilian Oath, director of the island. No further information. What? Pandora killed such an influential figure? What's wrong with him? We know for sure that Terry was not very popular here, but no one thought that Pandora would take action himself. What do you mean? Do you have any enemies? I don't have enough information about this. Ask around when you get the chance. What's certain is that his father has gone insane after that. I wouldn't trade places with these wretches living here after we solve the case. You think there's a chance that we might talk to him? He could tell us more about what happened. Probably, but let me tell you, it won't be much of a pleasant chat. As always. Let's get to the point. What did you find out about the dynamics of the murder? Really, the word dynamics is really weird. I don't think they meant to use the word dynamics. It's more like... But... the intricacies? Nah, that's worse. Not dynamics, that's for sure. Well, I'll think about it. The victim jumped through a window from the 5th floor of the main building, falling into the pond in the middle of the square. But we've already established that this was not the cause of death. What then? Before being thrown out of the window, his throat was slit, while his eyes and mouth were filled with hot wax. That's not all. The victim had angel wings on his back, one of the props from the island's theatre. Angel wings? Props? What are they doing here? From what I heard, sometimes they organize plays as a recreational activity for the guests, and the rehearsal room is right there on the 5th floor. So he was thrown from there? Exactly. Wings, whacked, and the fall from a great height. There's no doubt, Icarus. Pandora created his sick version of the myth of Icarus. Icarus was the son of the master inventor Daedalus. After building a majestic labyrinth in which he locked up a brutal minotaur, Daedalus was condemned by Minos, king of Crete, and imprisoned along with his son inside his own creation, so that no one could ever discover the secret of the mythological beast. In an attempt to escape, Daedalus collected some feathers and glued them with wax to his son's body, so that he could fly. It was working fine, but swept up by the excitement, Icarus flew too close to the sun. The wax suddenly melted and he fell to his death. How did he manage to kill him without anyone noticing? I have no idea yet. Maybe we can find out more by investigating the crime scene on the rehearsal room. Can you get us in, Leon? I need some time, but I'll do my best. Well, at least now we have a lead to follow up. Very well, we can start by taking a look around. Alright, I'll be here in case you need anything. Try not to be reckless, okay? Sure, thank you. Come on, Mordred. This is supposed to be Maximilian Oath, the founder and director of this deadly maze. The statue represents him giving a needy old man a sort of sun, which is the symbol of the island. Pandora did find a way to represent even the sun. This is so grotesque, even more than the statue itself. A display case with some information about the structure, its foundation and development over time. At the bottom you can see the names of some important guests they had and their motto, "Here the sun never goes down." Well, the sun certainly did not go down at all. A small pond to make this place look like less of a gloomy labyrinth, I guess. Just like Leon said, the victim's face was disfigured with wax pouring to both his eyes and mouth. The throat was cut clean and cruel, typical of him. The victim's hands and arms have no wounds or bruises, so either he didn't notice the assassin, or he didn't try to defend himself. Here are the wings that Leon was talking about, although they are in a pretty bad shape after the fall. Does it look like such a good time to make such comments? The victim's right shoulder is full of cuts and shots of glass all over the skin. What is this supposed to mean? Great, now it's time to interrogate some witnesses. Any suspects yet? Oh, you bet. Thinking back to those moments makes me sick. I don't have time to waste. I must investigate before the police arrive. 2060. Artificial pond. Okay. It's the same statue. This grotesque statue is still symbolizing the egotism of that. Wait a minute. It's a big dent on his head. I wonder why. All kings are destined to suffer. The face of the statue representing the founder of the island is covered in dents, probably inflicted by a blunt object. All kings are destined to suffer. The display case is covered in blood. Maybe the victim hit his head against it when he landed on the ground. The island timetable. This might come in handy. Wake up call, medical examination, daily tasks, lunch, recreational, dinner, curfew. A security camera pointing at the crime scene? I'm not sure it will help us, but it might be useful. Unlike 6 years ago, during the first investigation, today there are many cameras on the island, showing a drastic increase in security measures. A shoe? What's it doing in the bush? Possibly the victim lost it during the fall and it landed here. I better take it with me as evidence. This shoe has been found at the crime scene. It looks like a safety shoe, size 43. The tiniest detail hides the most sinister of intentions. Once again, feathers are all around the crime scene. They are arranged in a different way this time though. Wait, why are these burns? Both his thumbs suffered severe burns. How could this happen? Whatever the reason, Pandora was definitely in a rush this time. But severely burned just like his... Both the victim's thumbs are covered in wax that are severely burned just like his face. Nothing burns like pride. Look, what are those wounds on his arms? The cuts are quite deep and there are a lot of shards of glass. There are several cuts and glass shards in both the victim's arms coming from the broken window. No sign of stab wounds on the rest of the body. Maybe this will help us break down what happened. Just like 6 years ago, the victim has wax all over his eyes. However, his throat looks untouched and the wax in his mouth is most likely dripped down from his eyes. Maybe Pandora didn't have time to slit his throat and was forced to change his plans. Hot wax was poured into the victim's eyes and it burned his cheeks and mouth. Since death was caused by the fall, the victim was certainly still alive when the wax was being poured. Oh boy. Oh god. Angel wings, identical to those used in the past. Broken into pieces after the fall, once again. These medium-sized wings are used as a stage costume and they were tied to the victim's back. After the crash, its feathers spread around the crime scene. Discreet wings broken by burning ambitions. I've seen enough. Our friends will be here any second. Mordred, the police are here. Good, let's move out. Please stay calm, we're carrying out some checks to ensure your safety. You can go back to your rooms very soon. However, keep in mind that leaving this building is forbidden. I see the police started to take care of the guests of the island. Oh, Mordred, I finally found you. I was worried they turned screws on you for sticking your nose into the crime scene. We're good for now. Thank God. Tell me, what did you find there? Much more than I expected. What? So the murder is not identical to the one we investigated? Quite the contrary. I think the discrepancies will allow us to catch that piece of shit. Have you really spoken to Leon? No, he's probably too busy explaining why we are here on the island. You can keep me here, you have no right. Do you have any idea who you're dealing with? Who's that lunatic? What's all that screaming? Huh? Maximilian? Hatred is just a degeneration of loneliness. After the loss of his son, Maximilian fell into a deep depression worsened by his stressful job as director. Information about this user is momentarily unavailable due to an internal problem. Please contact Hephaestus Tech customer service. Huh? And who are you? You don't look like residents of the island. Are you reporters who came sniffing around? Did you really forget about us? Did you really forget about us and to think that we were like your best friends a few years ago? Did our faces age so much? Don't tell me. You are those detectives, Mordred and Hera. Mordred? Yeah, that's us. How did you get in? Security! Someone throw them out immediately! Shh, calm down already. We're here to solve this mess. And I believe that it's in your interest to get everything back to normal. Well, that was fast. What are you even talking about? The situation is perfectly under control. This is one of the most renowned places in the whole city. It takes much more to affect its integrity and reputation. So you can forget about wandering around here. You're not the police and I don't trust you at all. I'm afraid we won't be able to get anything out of him. You should remember what kind of person he is. Maximilian is lying, and this time I don't need the mouse to realize that. But I won't convince him to help if I don't get personal. In order to do that, I need to dive into the past, the day this man's life fell apart. From now on, by using the souvenir picture in your inventory, you will go back to the past and experience firsthand Hera's and Mordred's memories. This way you'll find new information and learn more about the case from 6 years ago. Use the picture again to get back to the present. Remember, you won't be able to use the evidence collected in the future during the investigation in the past. Can we play more Be a Good Citizen? Okay, I need something from here. Yeah, it can only be here. Oh, and you. There we go. I guess we go back to the past. Where? It's not familiar to me now. Yes. Yes, the souvenir picture. So the main suspects are these two guys? Yes, Robert Harrington and Jennifer Kingston. Apparently they had a grudge against the victim due to something that happened a few years ago. It seems they are pretty famous actors here in Nova Polemos. Jennifer Kingston. The devil's in the details. Jennifer was condemned to the electric chair for Terry Oath's murder and executed with her accomplice. No further information available. We apologize for the inconvenience. Robert Harrington. 52. Gosh, touch is never a caress. Before being condemned to the electric chair for Terry Oath's murder, Harrington was one of the most renowned dramatic actors in the theatre scene of Nova Polemos. What are two actors doing here, and what happened between them and the victim? I don't have the answers to your questions right now. We have to find out more on our own. The police know I'm working with you, so they have me on a short leash. Alright, we're going to speak to them. You'll find them in the waiting room. They shouldn't be too hard to spot. Maybe we should talk to the director Maximilian too, even though you advised us against it. Well, if you really want, go to the crime scene then. He's there since yesterday. He's still in shock and refuses any help, so try to be careful if you don't want to be kicked out. Alright, let's go. The guests collect their daily medicines from this desk. The reinforced glass. They suggest they maybe had some problems in the past. A billboard reminding their beloved guests to take their medicines. It's almost like people would rather die than wake up in this place. This building is crumbling and there are puddles all around. How retarded can you be to build so many stairways in a place mostly populated by old people? Sealed doors, probably leading to the staff quarters and the kitchens. A few signs to help people move around the island. Given the complexity of the structure, I would have expected more of them. Huh? Look, Mordred, those two look like... There you are. Finally, I found you. Excuse me? What did I tell you? This girl has the perfect face for our next play. Look how beautiful she is, Robert. Oh, wow. You are damn right, Jennifer. This girl is a real beauty, a rare jewel. Are you talking about me? You see any other young ladies around here? You're the performer we are looking for. Tell me, are you two in the theater? Oh, yes, I like it, but... Alright, enough of the chit-chat. We are detectives. Pull yourself together. We've got work to do here. Oh, how rude. You can't expect kindness when someone here has just been murdered by a serial killer. You must be Mr. Harrington and Miss Kingston, am I right? That's us. Here we are, in the flesh. Would you like an autograph, miss? Oh, well, not really. Actually, we wanted to ask you a few questions. Oh dear, don't tell me we're suspects. We're just honest and respected actors. Our life goes to make people dream, not to kill them. Despite the pervasive control methods and censorship, the artistic community of Nova Polemos has always been very prosperous. After its foundation, several creative minds moved into the city in search of fame, and their ideas contributed to the creation of many contemporary masterpieces. You don't have to worry. Some routine questions won't do you any harm. If you are innocent, you'll be released soon. Fine, so what are you waiting for? Ask away. We shall prove that we are as pure as snow. Do you know the victim personally? Sure we did. He was our employer's son. The poor wretch was not very well liked. He had many enemies, and in the end, he suffered the consequences. It may look like a serial killer did the deed, but I'm sure the motive is revenge. Who are those enemies you mentioned? Well, everyone living on the island. Don't you know? He used to manage the company budget and caused all sorts of disasters. What disasters? Crumbled walls, budget cuts, non-compliant buildings. He was doing everything to take bribes from construction companies. So the victim was hated for being a corrupt man. Maybe we should discuss this with his father. Who is Maximilian Oath to you, and what are you doing on the island? Maximilian is our patron. He's the one who decided to bring the theatre here for his guests. He has always wanted to make life better for those living here, by having them participate in acting classes, for example. He even organized several theatre festivals with professional actors, and that's where we come in. Before all this happened, we were rehearsing for our play dedicated to the tragedy of those who perished in an attempt to immigrate to Nova Polemos. Were the rehearsals taking place here on the island? No, we only taught acting classes for some of the guests here in the rehearsal room of the recreation area. So there is a rehearsal room. Could it be the place where Pandora attacked the victim? As strange as it might sound, Maximilian loved his son and his death hit him very hard. I believe he had good intentions for this place, but then politics kicked in and ruined everything, as often happens. So if you have nothing to do with the murder, you should be able to provide an alibi for the both of you, right? Of course, when the incident occurred, Robert and I were in our room rehearsing the play. Like true professionals. Is there any camera footage that can prove it? I don't think there are any cameras inside the building. So you don't have any believable alibi? We were together, isn't it enough? No mas. Are they telling the truth? Or maybe there's more? So, you are just two actors who have nothing to do with the murder, is that it? Oh. I swear, we had no hard feelings towards either him or his father. We've been collaborating with them since the opening of the facility. It's only her. It's hard to get hired in this country. We can't afford to kill the few employees left. Wait. A mask? It popped up right when she said they had no hard feelings. Alright, it's enough for now. Sick enough, we might still need you. As you wish, madame. Roger that, just don't let us wait here for too long, okay? They are hiding something, I know it. Huh? Hiding what? A mask showed up when she talked about resentment towards the victim and his father. Their relationship wasn't that good, in fact. Leon was right. They are definitely good suspects. Especially if Pandora acted in the rehearsal room, as I think. Yeah, their alibi isn't solid at all. Before we face them again, we should investigate that room, but I'm afraid we can't have access until Leon gives us the permission. Alright, let's do some research meanwhile. Despite the degradation in the peripheral areas, 95% of the population believes that Nova Polemos is something something. Oh hi. You didn't deserve this. No. My dear, gentle, sweet and caring son. No, I'm sure it was just envy. The envy of that filthy loser who did this to you. I promise you, son, I will have that bastard's head, or everyone else will pay for it. Is he talking to himself? Mordred, this man just lost his son. Just try to be respectful. Who's there? Who dares to speak while I'm mourning? Detective Mordred Foley and Anarchy, sir. We are here to arrest the monster that killed your son. I've heard of you two. You are those detectives who have been chasing Pandora for years, and now you're here to feed off my son's dead body in search for fame and glory. Grave robbers preying on the lonely and bereaved, digging out carrion like vultures. That's what you are. Please, sir, I understand your pain, but I swear we're here to help. If you wish to avenge your son, you just have to support us. I promise that you have a front row seat to the execution of that bastard. Alright, but I don't trust you, nor the police. Well, we have something in common. Alright, here we go. First question. Neverland. I know it's painful, but we need to know more about your son. Terry has always been an incredibly smart and honorable man, so I decided to keep him by my side to handle the island. The board did not like my decision, but complaining is part of the job of those ungrateful fuckers, I guess. Terry managed the budget while planning the renovation of the buildings and the creation of new areas. I felt so proud looking at him at work. You should have seen him. Any idea why Pandora would go after him? If I knew, I wouldn't be here mourning, don't you think? I need some eye drops. Could you tell us about the structure of the island? This facility is meant to... The facility is meant to have no ways to get in or out besides the main entrance. The goal is to protect ourselves from thieves who would see a place full of old people like a true gold mine. We built a massive structure, a unique masterpiece of contemporary architecture, but then we had to expand, turning the facility to a maze of stairs to compensate the lack of space. One last question, then we'll leave you alone. We spoke to two of your actors and they confirmed one of our greatest concerns. It seems that your son was not particularly well liked around here because of some work-related issues. They mentioned some bribes, reason why several guests seem to hold a grudge against him. How dare you? My son was brilliant and honest! Any complications that arose were the fault of those stupid architects. People speak out of envy. The only reason those people died in the collapse is... What? Some guests died in the collapse? It's too late to hold back, Maximilian. Tell me, has anyone here died because of your son? He had absolutely nothing to do with that. It was not his fault. A column collapsed during a play, killing two old infirm people. The accident was kept within the island. It was a tragedy, nothing more. Were Robert and Jennifer on stage when it happened? No, there was another company at the time. Which refused to work here again after that, so I decided to hire those two. I knew I couldn't trust those bums. Hiring them was a big mistake. I did everything I could to improve the life quality of my guests, and all I got back was backstabbing. But things are going to change here, you have my word. Someone will pay for this. Terry did an excellent job. The only reasons why the buildings were not compliant is that someone tried to trick him. No mask. Maximilian truly believes his son is innocent. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to be left alone. This conversation made my mood even worse. Goodbye. Just as I thought, Maximilian won't talk about the misdeeds of his son. We'll have to find out in a different way. We should talk to Leon first. He might have some news. Alright, let's go. This mask thing. It doesn't seem to work with direct questions about being guilty. How much can I trust something like this? Except for the psychiatric evaluation of Mordred Foley, Part 2. What happens to me is not the result of some superpower like those stupid comics. This comes from some degenerative psychological condition that's driving me insane, forcing me to deal with the true face of people. I think it's time to confront Maximilian again and unmask him. We just need to pressure him, focusing on the past, and he'll fall apart. Well, let's save first. Alright, here we go. I've got to be careful not to push it, or I could blow up the whole case. Mr. Oaf, can we have a second? You again? Another word and I'll swear I'll kick you out of here. Mordred, maybe we should give up. No, trust me. I understand how you feel, but we need your help to find whoever did this. If you're not honest with me and don't grant us free access to the facility, we'll have our hands tied and it'll be all for nothing. I trusted you once and it all went to hell. If that maniac had the chance to strike again, it's all your fault. You sentenced to death 2 innocent people instead of the monster that slaughtered my son. No, this is not working. I need to change the topic. I've got to play on his fears and force him to talk. Fine, I'll be straightforward that if you keep obstructing our investigation, you could be the next one to die. What are you saying, Mordred? What? Are you resorting to threats now? You know what I'm saying. You're not the most beloved person here and you are in danger. What are you talking about? All residents and staff members love me. Why would they kill me? When I was investigating the crime scene, I found something that proves the opposite. This evidence shows that someone on the island has some unfinished business with you. Head. Where is the broken head? Yes. What the? Huh? There's a gouge on the head of the statue. It's like someone hit it hard. That's right, and it happens to represent our friend here. It seems that someone here is looking forward to getting their revenge. Who could have done that? That doesn't prove anything. It could just be an accident. Your reaction says otherwise. Or rather, your mask. So, someone damaged the island's properties as an act of rebellion? I'm quite sure this wasn't an isolated case. After the death of your son, things have changed here. And not for the better. You only have to look around to understand why. What? The number of guests has increased a lot. Everyone agrees this facility is a great success. A fake success achieved the collaboration of the government. The growth in the number of guests has just one simple reason behind. And that reason is the Patterson test. The much loved Patterson test. I'm sure most of your guests failed it. What are you implying? After the accident, the government put huge pressure on you and you ended up with your back against the wall. The only way to save face was to propose something that would keep the facility operative and profitable for the government, something really inhuman. And the Patterson test was the key. Usually old people fail it and they happen to be the perfect inhabitants of your beloved island. By forcing them to live here, being declared incompetent and no heirs, the government would obtain their properties. At the same time, granting you an army of slaves, forced to rely on you just for survival. The death of your son leads to cynicism, and cynicism to shameless exploitation. Exploitation? What the hell are you talking about? We provide people with no future shelter. These old people can't wait to work together and feel useful, and this place is much safer than their own houses. So true, especially if they're surrounded by walls and the entrance is strictly guarded. Well, it certainly feels like being inside of a prison. And they made a nice addition to the facility, which proves my point of view being scared of our guests. The addition I'm talking about is the security cameras. If this place is so perfectly safe, why we have cameras installed everywhere? Maybe they damaged something else other than the statue, and that's why you're so afraid. Stop it! How long are you going to harass me? I've lost my son and my credibility, and now this damn nightmare is ruining my life again. And on top of that, you two won't stop bugging me. That's simply because you keep on hiding the truth. Why didn't you tell us straight away that someone displayed violent behavior? Because the kind of behavior is a daily routine, and it involves dozens of different people desperate over 70 seeking for attention. Huh? Every day the facility gets damaged, and Pandora's return is the last straw. This can't go public, otherwise my career will be over. Now I'm following all the efforts my son and I made to create this place. Are you still willing to keep this quiet now that the blood of one of your employees is on your hands? What are you talking about? I don't even know the victim. There are thousands of people living here. You can't expect me to know all of them. Maybe not the guest, but I'm sure you're paranoid enough to know every single person who's working for you. Maybe, but he was certainly not one of them. I believe that's another lie, and I can prove it. This provides evidence that the victim worked here. I think it's a shoe. Yeah. Where would any of your old guests wear work shoes? Where did you find that? At the crime scene, the victim lost it during the fall and it landed in the bush. There's no point in lying anymore, Mr. Oath. Tell us the truth and maybe we'll be able to help you. Alright. Alright. I'll tell you what I know. This was the hard one, but we did it. The victim is Andrew Jonassy. He was one of the youngest and most promising technicians of the new theatre company of the island. Andrew Jonassy. This profile is currently locked for investigative purposes. Please try again later. Age 0. Wait, give me a sec. I need to like turn on my air conditioning because it's really hot here now. Honestly, I should have turned it on earlier because I thought I might be able to go through it, but no, I can't. The profile is unavailable. Did the police lock it up? Please, every second counts. All I'm asking is for you to help us understand. Did he work in the theatre too? That's right. That's right, after the accident, I started a new in-house company made of talented young people only, and I dedicated it to my son. Dedicating a company to the same person who destroyed the theatre. How ironic. Andrew was a good boy. I can't imagine why Pandora would kill him. Did Andrew have any contact with the people within the island? He knew all the members of the theatre company, but only one of them was here today. You can find him in the dark room. The dark room? Is something wrong? It's just where we store our collection of paintings. Have you forgotten what happened there 6 years ago? I'm sorry, I can't remember. What a liar. However, no mask this time. It doesn't matter. Mordred, no other people that come to mind? Or maybe any suspects? Maybe. Here are their room numbers. I want you to meet them before I give you my opinion. Really? What's that for? You'll find out soon enough. Also, I can give you the access code to the rehearsal room, but you have to convince the police to let you in. Don't worry, we can be very persuasive. Thank you, Mr. Oath. You've been very helpful. Thank me when you catch that monster. Before I go, I need to tell you something important. Huh? When you had those two bastards killed, I was happy. They were innocent, that's true. But they did everything they could to destroy me, so they deserve to die. Goodbye, detectives. Forget about it, Hera. Let's get back to the case. Alright. It's good that Maximilian decided to tell us the truth. I suspect the police wouldn't tell us anything. Yes, once again, we're gonna have to do this ourselves. Should we talk about the acquaintances of the victim, or would you prefer to go over the previous case? Let's think about it while I play another round of Be a Good Citizen. This one was easy. Alright. Okay, let's go back to the past. A mask? Are you serious? Do I look like I'm kidding? I know it sounds crazy, but this ability helps us solve most of the past cases. You know I have complete faith in you, but we can't. Just in time. Is it the police data on those two? I can't believe it. Maybe you are right. Huh? What did they find? The guests who died in the collapse during the play were Peter and Alice Kingston, the parents of that actress. I knew something was going on. Why would she accept to work for the man who had a hand in the death of her loved ones? Think about her desire for revenge and it doesn't sound that absurd anymore. Wait a moment. Pandora is a killer and none of the previous victims are connected to Jennifer in any way. That's true, but she didn't act alone. You think the other actor, Robert Harrington, could be Pandora? If so, she might have joined forces with him in order to kill the man she hated. If you remember, we have always thought that Pandora had a partner, and it is very likely that he works with a different one each time. This way he could collect all the information he needed about the victim, increasing his chances of success. This makes no sense. I refuse to believe that Pandora is such a well-known man. The best place to hide something is in plain sight. You should know that. What I know is that you want to take that monster down all what I know is that you want to take that monster down at all costs, and your obsession is leading you towards the wrong person. You were the one who told us they were suspects. Have you suddenly changed your mind? Leon's got a point, Mordred. Masks and guesses can't be used as evidence. You're heading down a dangerous path, my friend. We should investigate the rehearsal room first. I'm sure we'll be able to figure something out. As you wish, assuming Leon gives us the access key and the police don't arrest us. Fine, I'm sending you the codes through Aqua OS, along with a map to find the room. Otherwise you get lost. This place is a real maze. You're sending him just like that? Without any approval of your superiors? Just chill, I know what I'm doing. Now you're talking. There's a shred of courage behind that uniform, after all. Try not to screw things up while I'm gone. Huh? You're not coming with us? No, I must verify something first. Call me if you find something interesting. Okay, please be careful. Don't worry, I don't plan on getting killed in this cesspool. Mordred, you're absolutely sure about the reason why that mask appeared, aren't you? Trust me, okay? Now let's go. So this is the rehearsal room. Luckily the police didn't touch anything. It seems they haven't collected all the evidence yet. This could be our chance to frame those two. How can you smile in a place like this? I smile because we are getting closer. I smile because we're getting closer to the truth. Or maybe I'm just going crazy because it's been too long since I smoked. I hope you're right. This glass was violently smashed, and it's easy to guess that the victim was already dead when he was thrown out of the window. Huh? Something got stuck here. A piece of multicolored cloth. I wonder where it comes from. From a costume, to be precise. From Jennifer's one. How do you know? Look at that pile of clothes and you'll understand. The only costume with the same color has a tag with Jennifer's name on it. Bingo. Hold on, that doesn't prove anything. Pandora could have worn it or ripped it to frame her. We'll see. You almost sound like you want her arrested at all costs. Props of various kinds, mostly useless. One of the costumes has a tag that reads Jennifer. What are these drawings? They look like rough sketches made by a kid. Maybe Pandora left these marks on purpose. A sun, a moon, and a hand with some circles below. What the hell? Those lines between the circles must mean something. It looks like some sort of code. Whatever it is, once again that maniac is making a fool of us all. These 3 drawings in wax have been found at the crime scene 6 years ago. They represent a sun, a moon, and a hand. The current representation is the reconstruction made by Mordred Foley. Please use the appropriate option to enlarge the image. The victim was most likely tied to his chair, given the rope around it. Anything else? There has to be something else. Alright, that's mouse time. Oh, there it is. Why is there so much wax on the ground? This is probably when Pandora disfigured that poor man. No blood, and no clue on how he carried the victim up here. We're at the dead end. No, you're wrong. Now I'm sure those two are implicated in this crime. Don't tell me your conclusion is purely based on a piece of cloth and some hypothesis. No, you're forgetting the mask, and my bloody detective sense. This is no game, Mordred. If we are wrong, we will get 2 innocent people arrested and executed. Do you realize that? People can't wait to blame someone for what happened. They wouldn't think twice before killing them. That's good for us. Any shred of evidence should be enough to get this over with. You've changed, Mordred, and not for the better. Since we started to investigate these cases, you've become even colder and more cynical. What happened to the man who wished to realize our dream? He's right in front of you. But there's no way to achieve that dream by following the rules. There is no blood, we don't know how he dragged the guy up here, and the clock's ticking. Do you really believe that we're going to find any hard evidence? Or that Pandora would suddenly make a mistake and get caught? Truth is, the only way to win this war is by making a deal with the devil, and you know it. Hera, this is the path which leads to glory, and we are so damn close. We are about to arrest the most wanted man in Nova Polemos, ever. Nothing else matters now. Oh boy. Maybe you're right. Maybe there is no other way to put an end to this. I intend to. Boy. They sure made some hasty decisions back there. I know what you want to do. No need to tell me. I'll always be by your side, no matter what. Although what we are about to do makes me sick. Hera. Go. I'll try to find something that might help us here. Right. Alright. Oh, one thing before I go. Huh? Thank you. Oh, detective, we meet again. Where's your partner? You mean Robert? Oh, I think he's in our room. Why are you asking? You don't suspect him, do you? Whoa. That's a lot of mass. The police keep asking to access our room. I hope you don't have anything to do with this. What the? Are you alright? Should I call someone? Mordred, what are you doing here? Where's Hera? In the rehearsal room. She asked me to stay because... We must go back to her. Move! I don't... Hera, are you alright? Let's stop for now. We've talked long enough about the past. Thank you. You've never dealt with the trauma, have you? How could I? That's what triggered those disastrous events that brought us into this mess. I'm sorry. I've been insensitive. It doesn't matter. Let's just go ahead with the case. We could never figure out the meaning of those drawings. Maybe this time they will come in handy. Maximilian Oath thinks that... Alright. Jennifer Kingston, one of the main suspects whose parents were killed. Some piece of the costume. There was no sign of either blood or struggle. No one's ever figured out how she managed to bring him here. There might be a hidden path that nobody has ever found. This drawing was found on the wall. Sun, moon, handprint, circles. Some clues like the wax drawings can be examined in full screen when used in inventory. Alright. Oh, we've been here. Map. Well, let's go to the rehearsal room. This place hasn't changed at all in the last 6 years. That's what you call a recurring nightmare, I guess. If you need to let out some steam about the past. No, I'm fine. We must focus on the case. Alright, let's get started then. Actually, this room is quite empty and clean. There are no traces of blood either. The police let us in without resistance. I just hope they didn't contaminate the crime scene too much. Remind me to thank Leon for that. I bet this is doing. The window was smashed by the victim. There's broken glass everywhere. Given the state of the scene, he was thrown out with great violence. There's a lot of wax on the floor near the window. Did Pandora pour it into the victim right by the window? How? Maybe he drugged him. No, there are signs of foul play everywhere. He tried to resist him, and the wounds on his arm. Well... Fingerprints? They look like two thumbs. Maybe the victim tried to resist him and push against the wall. It's weird enough that Pandora did not kill him right away, and the idea of letting the victim resist is just ridiculous. We're definitely missing something. What are these? Some jars containing wax? Pandora must have poured this onto the victim's face. And he left them here? That doesn't make any sense. The scenography is really cheap, like those used for school plays. Oh. Several old style spotlights. Not sure whether to give the place a vintage touch or just to save money. Some theoretical equipment lying around. I guess those angel wings came from here. We searched everywhere, but couldn't find any answers. And there's not a single camera in here. Maybe we should ask for the footage of the other areas. I highly doubt Pandora was so careless as to show his face. Also, there are security cameras only at the entrance and in some specific spots. I guess the killer knew it well. Regardless, I can't get my head around why Pandora didn't cut his throat unlike last time. Maybe he didn't want to leave any trace of blood. And what about leaving the jars with wax here? Possibly with his fingerprints. He's not that stupid. Last time he planned everything in a cold and calculated way, setting up a real horror show. This time he acted recklessly and in a hurry, as if he didn't have much time. And there's no trace of chairs, ropes or any tool to pour the wax onto Andrew's face. The weird thing though is that Pandora managed to pour the wax evenly onto the victim's face. At least this tells us that he wasn't attacked from behind, and I doubt the victim had been drugged. This place is crawling with bored old people. I'm sure someone would have noticed something like that. Then we have thumbprints on the wall, and the victim had burns right on those fingers. He clearly tried to resist being thrown out of the window during his agony. Think someone might have heard him screaming? Maybe we can find some witnesses. I don't think so. These walls and windows are thick when he was, and basically soundproof. They probably heard the screams while he was falling, nothing more. Well, now what? We've hit a dead end. Not exactly. We know this killing method is slightly different from the previous case, and this time there are no drawings. You're right, we couldn't figure out their meaning back then. Could they be useful this time? Maybe, but it's too early to tell. I guess we go to another place. It's said to exist legendary pilot of the future. Clearly this doesn't mean it's a secret machina. Oh, the atmosphere of this place gives me the creeps. Oh look, Daryl, we have guests. Shall I make some coffee? Oh, don't bother, madam. We appreciate your hospitality though. Well, I'm Mary Hope, and this is my husband Daryl. Forgive him, he hasn't been much of a talker lately. To what do we owe your visit? Mary Hope. Not available, not available. She's 73, wow. Daryl Hope. The glory of awakening makes up for the fall. My name is Mordred, and this is Hera. We are private detectives, currently working on the Pandora case. Nice to meet you, madam. The pleasure is mine. Sorry to bother you, but we'd like to ask you something about Andrew Jonasse. Andrew. Alright, but please be gentle with my poor Daryl. Don't worry, madam. We'll do our best to respect the both of you. Oh, that poor thing. What happened to him is really awful. After his death, my dear Daryl has almost stopped speaking. He's broken and seems lost in his own world. Were they close? Andrew really looked up to my husband. He considered him a role model for his artistic achievements. That's why Maximilian told me to come here. Do you know Andrew was an emerging artist? He used to show all his works to Daryl. He was the only joy we had. I'm so sorry for your loss. May his soul finally find peace in the afterlife. Do you have any enemies that you know of? Or perhaps, did he ever mention someone looking like Pandora? Talking about his revenge now would drive them crazy. Oh, no, not at all. He had some disagreements with employers, and he was complaining about salary, and he got a bit harassed at work. But he was not the kind of person who would end up doing something. But he was not the kind of person who would end up doing something silly like the youngsters these days. Isn't that so, dear? So our friend worked as a technician in the theatre, but he also had the talent for painting. How long have you been living on the island? More than 7 years. We both failed the Patterson test and they forced us to come here. So you were already here when the previous murder took place? Unfortunately, yes. Now I think about it, this man has a familiar face, but I can't recall where I could have met him. So you've experienced firsthand the radical change carried out by Maximilian Oath as well. Speaking of him, are you aware of anyone that could have a reason to hold a grudge against him? Why do you ask? Because we are dealing with the same killer from 6 years ago, and I'm sure that Mr. Oath's recent behavior is connected to Andrew's death. Oh. Well, no, absolutely. Everyone respects the director here. He's the one that allows us to live peacefully after all. And I don't know what change you're talking about. They installed some cameras, that's all. The tragedy has changed him, but who wouldn't suffer after the loss of their own child? Amas, is she afraid to speak openly to us? Is Maximilian threatening them, or is there something more? Alright, I think we've bothered you long enough. Thank you. I'm sure your contribution will be very useful to the investigation. You're welcome. No problem at all. Maximilian sent us here because he knew they had something to do with the murder, and the mask proves it. I don't have any real evidence to expose her right now, but she definitely has something to hide. As usual, the situation is getting worse by the second. Don't go any further, son. Only those who deserve to spend their life in darkness may enter the room. The fox. The fox eats her cub only to survive, not out of selfishness. Huh? Oh, don't mind me. My poor husband happens to rave sometimes. Nothing to worry about. Alright, madam. We'll come by again in case we need your help. Oh, sure. Good luck, detectives. Alright. I finished my first cup of water, now onto the second. Are you really going to stay in your rooms? These people are exploiting you and you're doing nothing about it. Oh great, just what we needed. A screaming madman. He's certainly not the kind of guest I expected to find here. Huh? Who are you? Oh, hello. We are Hera Caris and Mordred Foley. We are detectives and... Great, 2 more slaves of the system. From the frying pan into the fire. We should have ignored him. How dare you? At least have the decency to introduce yourself now. Well, I'm Luke Benton and I consider myself a political prisoner, so I have all the right to be in a terrible mood. Luke is ill-tempered and extremely competitive, with marked out political views and a taste of rebellion. His aggressive ways may be attractive to the city's extremist groups, and a dangerous individual as well. Warning, information could be unreliable due to an internal error. A political prisoner? What are you talking about? 2 more citizens living under a rock while the world falls apart around them. I'm here because of the Black Bands, of course, those filthy fascists. What? The Black Band locked you up in here? Why else would someone like me be in this place? Claims people are not aware of what's happening to this city. What do you mean? I can give you a quick overview of the situation if you wish. Maybe you'll see those monsters for what they really are. We shouldn't waste our time with these people, Hera. The clock's ticking and we must find Pandora at all costs. I'm quite sure that whatever happened to that poor man is related to what you don't want to hear from me. Huh? And how? I'll be glad to explain. Where should I start? How is it possible that the Black Bands can transfer politically inconvenient people to these facilities, just like that? Such a crime cannot remain unnoticed. Oh, actually it's quite simple. By manipulating the message, even the worst of savageries may sound acceptable. They just said that I was hired within the facility as a tutor for guests that would help and educate them for free. My case is specific, but the same thing happened to builders, electricians and other labourers. People are hired and forced to live on the island, constantly supervised by armed guards paid by the Black Bands. A brilliant plan to put us all in jail a brilliant plan to put us all in the jail with no bars. And I'm afraid this is only the beginning. Why would you say that? Because gathering every political dissident and inconvenient people in a single place will lead to an uprising, and at that point they will have a good reason to attack them publicly. Because death was the fuse that ignited the streets and the passions of the citizens, and now all they need is a spark to unleash untold violence on us. So why are you going around screaming like crazy? Because I'm trying to convince these wretches to support me. Altogether we might be able to change things. What a bunch of unrealistic utopias. This is just a pipe dream, if you ask me. Yet we saw things with our own eyes, Mordred. The raids in Talent Square, hate speech on television, and now this. I figured that the new leader of the Black Bands, that Loveless, was a terrible person. But I didn't think he would take it that far. He's just carrying out the plan designed by his predecessors. And I'm not just referring to myself and my comrades, but also to those poor people forced to leave their house. Things got even worse for them, and now they might be thrown out onto the street at any time. What are you talking about? This island was meant to give shelter to homeless people. Sure, as long as they are independent and able to work. What if they get really sick though? I guess the state provides medical attention and support, right? Anything, I'm a misguided idealist. The truth is, if no relatives are able to cover the cost, the whole family will be forced to leave the island. And since the government owns their properties, they will have to live on the street. This is simply ridiculous, and no one's doing a thing to stop it. We're talking about sick and useless old people, often with no family, who are nothing but a burden to society. In short, an enemy to be shredded in a machine called progress. This has been going on for months, and yet you've only just found out. Ask yourself why. I better remember this. It may be useful for the investigation. You said before that the Black Bands and this murder might have a connection. Can you tell us more? If Pandora decided to kill him here, he probably acted for political purposes. A politically motivated murder? Are you for real? Pandora is a living nightmare for Nova Polemos. Nothing's better than one of his grand gestures to draw the public attention to something or someone. When people hear about the murder on the island, they will have to face reality. You almost make him look like a hero. Are you kidding? Pandora is just a killer. But we cannot deny that he's trying to sabotage the Black Bands. Just think about Treasury Park and what happened to Baker. We cannot exclude that he's the one who shot him. I'm not sure Pandora will go that far. He's a psycho, not some idealist revolutionary. Whatever the reason, it is now that the Black Bands and those around him are the first to want him dead. And how is he supposed to help us with the case? You're the detective. You're the detective here, or am I wrong? I've told you all that you need to know. I hope you understand why our future is not so bright. Especially for someone like you, miss. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an important meeting. I hope I'm still alive to see you again when all of this is going to be over. Deportations, beatings, people confined in ghettos. Why is this happening? How can people harbor so much hatred towards the weak? The truth is, the city has always been drowning in hatred. The massacres, the sorrow, and the injustices of the past. Living in this sewer pit of a town is getting harder and harder, and in order to settle the crowd they need a common enemy, someone weak and helpless. History repeats itself and the Black Bands just added fuel to the fire. And we allowed this to happen. This is all our fault. No, Hera, don't say that. This is just the consequences of a hate campaign that has been running for years and years. How long before these episodes of violence become common and tolerated? How long before are we scared to walk the streets alone? As I said, we'll be long gone before there's any chance of that. I'm afraid it's already too late. Alright, let's go to the dark room. Nova Polemos has the lowest rate of suicides and mental breakdowns in the world. You have our word, the Black Bands. This place is... Don't worry, Hera. I understand if you're not ready to be here. No, I'm fine. What's wrong, miss? Is this room making you uncomfortable? No, actually. I was actually hoping to see some paintings. Oh, so you already know the purpose of the dark room? Yes, we've already been here a long time ago. Although things have changed a lot since then. Actually, I know exactly who you are and what your intentions are. You're kind of a legend around here, you know. I wasn't here at that time, but old people don't have many conversation topics, and they always end up talking about what happened 6 years ago. In fact, I am so sorry for what happened to you, young lady. No one should experience something like that. Don't worry, it's all in the past now. Rather, I must ask you something important. We have been told that someone working in the dark room was very close to the victim. Were they referring to you, by chance? Sadly, yes. I'm Lee Grace, curator of this beautiful room and all the artworks on the island. Where are the paintings? All I see is monitors. The paintings are usually displayed on those monitors, but I temporarily had to turn them off. I see. So you said you were a close friend of the victim. Do you think you can help us catch the killer? Sure, ask me anything. Lee has an explosive and creative personality. Despite some obsessive-compulsive behaviors towards his art, he is generally composed and measured, and is considered an eccentric and brilliant man. You said that the dark room has changed a lot compared to 6 years ago. What did you mean? When I became curator, I had interactive columns installed to display the paintings of the whole exhibition. The paintings rotate every 15 minutes, best representing the fickleness of mind, life, and art in general. Oh, that sounds amazing. That way is always a surprise for visitors. Exactly. Unlike your partner, you look like an extremely sensitive and charming person. Excuse me? Oh, thank you. Unfortunately, due to that terrible incident, I had to switch them off and stop all the clocks in this room. Let me ask you, do the artworks have a common theme? We generally let our guests choose a theme so that they can fully express how they really feel. And in addition to this, there are some works of mine, as well as those of a few external collaborators. You told us enough about that, thank you. Could you focus on the victim and your relationship with him? Andrew was a very smart and gifted painter too. He worked here as a technician, but I always told him he was wasting his talent. Besides, the theatre company treated him like a slave, just like they do with anyone playing a minor role. We spent a lot of time together when he was not working. He was the only person with a soul around here. His work speaks for themselves. Oh, really? And where can I see his paintings? They are not available at the moment, but as soon as this case is over, I'll dedicate an entire exhibition to him and I'll make sure to invite you. So you'll be able to see firsthand the wonderful artworks of that little angel. Lee seems to be very fond of Andrew, but is there something more than a simple friendship between them? Thank you for your time, you've been very kind and helpful. It's the least I can do. No one wants to avenge the death of my dear friend more than me. I wish I could be more useful. It's fine, really. You've done a lot for us. Alright, I'll get back to work before the police come here and wreck the entire room. Interactive paintings, which rotate periodically. What kind of nonsense is this? So much technology for a bunch of old geezers. Mordred, stop it. He might hear you. Interrogate the residents of the island. Let's see. Where else have... I feel like I need to Ace Attorney style this now. Where to go and what to do. Do I go back here? Oh, yeah. Travel not available. Okay. Hmm. Now what? I guess the only thing left is to talk to the lady. Hmm. Living on the island. It's probably an uncomfortable question, but I need to know the truth. Oh, please ask away. We came to know what it's like for people with diseases or handicap here on the island. And I guess it is affecting you as well. Mordred, what's wrong with you? That's not appropriate to say. No, the detective is right. That my husband's conditions are critical and will be forced to leave soon. Sadly, I can't work and take care of him at the same time, so I'm afraid we'll end up wandering the streets. I just hope someone gives us hospitality once we lose everything. I really would like to help you, madam. I appreciate your concern, darling. This has nothing to do with Andrew's murder, hasn't it? Huh? No, why are you asking this? Because I have the feeling that your situation might be the cause of the victim's hatred against the managers of the island. But something went wrong and he was killed before being able to have his revenge. What? That's not true. Andrew knew nothing about this. He was simply trying to help us. Mordred, stop. You're crossing the line. Much just as I thought. At least now we know where to start. I'm sorry, madam. I didn't mean to upset you. Well, it's a little too late for that. Oh, there you go. Supposed to talk with her. They're looking for us in the waiting room. Any news from Leon? I don't want to spoil the surprise. Just one thing before we go, Mordred. Huh? Your behavior with those old people was obnoxious, to say the least. You knew about the situation and you humiliated them anyway. I only did it to see whether they were lying or not, and as it happens, a mask actually did pop out of that woman's face. There were more noble and appropriate ways to lead the interrogation, and you know it. Or maybe you suspect them. A man in a wheelchair and a woman who's barely able to walk? Are they the real danger? Hera. Yeah. You're right, I went too far. I'll try and be gentle next time. You've been saying that for years, and yet you act like everyone's your puppet. These people are forced to live in the maze of nothing but delusions and fear of being totally forgotten. The least we can do is to give them the respect they deserve. Alright, I promise. I appreciate that. Just try to keep your word. Hera is right. My kindness will never lead us to Pandora. One more promise that I'm probably going to break. I hope she doesn't hate me once this case is over. This is our last chance for redemption. Hopefully she understands that I'm doing everything in the name of truth. Forgive me if you can, Hera. Oh, it's Freya. Just as I thought. You're drawn to trouble like moths to a flame. You show up wherever Pandora makes an appearance. Unbelievable. Freya, how are you? Are you in charge of the case? I've been better. The story of Hephaestus' tech is a complete mess and it's killing me. And yes, they assigned me here, but I needed to speak with you quite urgently. Really? You're not warming to us, are you? I'd rather work my entire life in the archive than spend another day with you. Such a sweetheart. How can you keep bickering in a situation like this and after all we've been through? Yeah, I did save your life, Freya. Right, enough of the jokes and small talk. We have to discuss serious matters which are possibly connected to the murder. You mean you're going to help us investigate? Who do you take me for, sir? I'm a police officer. I don't work with private detectives. Great, time to strengthen our relationship with the armed wing of the police. I need this woman. Evolution of the Black Bands. The strange kiss of the Smith brothers snaked in the grass. Let's talk about Smith brothers first. The case I asked you to investigate with the Smith brothers. What do you want to know? You provided compelling evidence against Dean Smith, even if his brother had blown up the entire Aqua OS system. And you're asking why I want to know? Are you aware that woman, Dahlia, seems to have disappeared? Is she missing too? I've never told Hera the whole truth. She wouldn't forgive me. The laboratory where Eugene destroyed Aqua OS was set on fire and he was arrested right after. However, his brother was found guilty of the murder instead. He was raving about androids and of your alleged agreement with Eugene. And now that our databases are blown to pieces and your profile has been cleared, I'm starting to think that he wasn't speaking nonsense. Is there anything you'd like to tell me? I can't afford to tell the whole truth, but maybe I can reveal something to win her trust back. What should I do? Yeah, let's tell about the android. She's dead anyway. Alright, I'll tell you how things are. So, you know, there was this android and it did a thing. So, androids do exist and Talia decided to kill herself with Eugene's help because she couldn't live without the professor. After she found out about the truth about Dean and the deal with the diplomat, she didn't want to carry on living and she decided to collaborate with Eugene. And I already told you about her reasons. Androids in Nova Polemos, and no one knew anything. Such an incredible discovery and innovation gone up in smoke. Maybe we could bring this to the press? I doubt anyone would believe it, especially now that Aqua OS system's gone. Now you understand why I've held back on speaking about this? Our society is falling apart anyway. The destruction of Aqua OS is showing the whole system's fragility. Well, perhaps it's for the best. So, you never got the chance to stop her? To help her reconsider her decision? No. When I got there, I only had time to disarm Dean before he tried to kill his brother too. Talia sent me there because she had the feeling that something bad would happen and she wouldn't let Eugene die too. She was broken after she found out about the agreement between Dean and the diplomat, and that's why she acted this way. I am lying through my teeth. I am lying through my fucking teeth. Not me, Mordred. Mordred, you are lying through your goddamn teeth right now. Such a sad story. I hate lying, but I'm doing it for her sake. I won't let her soul bear any more guilt. I prefer not to remember, but it's time for you to know the truth. What are you talking about? The glove that you found at Treasury Park. Although your colleague screwed me over and reported me for withholding evidence, I appreciated his honesty. Also, the situation drastically changed after you saved me, so I think there's no longer a point in fighting each other. I think you should know the real problem with that piece of evidence. Is the glove that important? It is. It took me months, but I finally realized how things went down. It was omitted from the report because someone in the police made it disappear in order to frame Baker. Then it suddenly reappeared just when you two showed up. Kind of weird, isn't it? What about the police? Did they notice anything? I suspect the whole Treasury Park thing is a farce orchestrated by someone, and as far as I know, it could be your friend, the lawyer. Could it be part of the plan he was talking about? Is David pulling the strings to lead us where he wants? He could have done it to help his client, but why ask us then? I still don't know why, but I'm sure he did all he could to turn you against me. This is why I would warn against having any contact with him, at least until I learn something more about him. Fine, we'll be careful. Well, we're not trusting him anyway, so that kind of works out. She has a point, but there's another possibility. Maybe Freya's the one who's turning us against David because she's afraid of us getting too involved. Maybe she hit the glove and now she's afraid of being exposed and losing her credibility. Or are they both hiding something? I need to figure out where the truth lies. How much do you know about the Black Bands after Baker's death? We only know from what the media reported. We heard they elected a new leader and are keen on finding the killer. Excluding the raids at the very beginning, they are keeping a low profile and the situation looks stable now. We found out that some political dissidents and opponents of the government have been imprisoned here, but that's it. Probably their goal was to create a public enemy, a scapegoat, to increase their influence and obtain broad public consensus. Actually, things are much worse than what they want you to believe. What do you mean? Those raids are still going on and there are rumors about executions as well. Executions, you say? Why on earth would they do that? Some say they were prisoners sentenced to death who broke out a few years ago, but they are opponents of the government, most likely. When they realized that the situation was about to get out of control, they decided to lock them up. After all, they can't afford to kill well-known personalities and public figures. That would be too much, even for them. Either way, the situation is extremely unstable at the moment. They weren't joking when they said Baker was the moderate one among them, and now we can see why. Would they be so foolish to choose a leader able to commit such violent acts just a few months after his appointment? Here's a picture of our future president, so you can find the answer yourself. Roland Loveless, young heir to one of the wealthiest families, known for racism, extortion, beatings and other violent episodes. Despite that, he is loved by a large part of the population thanks to his good looks, his silver tongue, and the best marketing agency in the world. You just need to make the people believe that all the incidents of the past were conspiracies orchestrated by the opposition, the public enemy, and suddenly cruelty turns into a point of pride. Before you ask, his Aqua OS profile is off issues. His Aqua OS profile is off limits. Privacy issues, you know. Huh. He looks like a priest. They really want to put this scumbag in charge of the country. They already did it. And you're telling us all of this because the city is on the verge of another crisis. Just like several years, and people like you, Hera, will pay the highest price. How is that possible? How is that possible? We have memorials, museums, statues, special days to commemorate massacres, and people forget, symbols change, but hatred remains. The hungry beasts within Nova Polemos need a public enemy, and the Black Bands are willing to give them one. But they just barely edge out their political opponents. That would be such a bold act in a balanced and delicate situation like this. No dictator ever took power with absolute consent, right? Manipulating people is a step-by-step process and follows precise patterns. Show the opponent's weakness, create a common enemy, shape common language, make brutality acceptable, and you have full power. You start with some raids for security reasons, then you create a scandal, you keep fueling hatred, and all of a sudden your consent is through the roof. And if you think that finding Baker's killer will stop their rising, you're damn wrong. They are not going to find the responsible. As far as we know, they could have planned the murder themselves. So, what should we do? Leave as soon as possible. Forget about this whole thing and leave this nightmare behind you. How are you even supposed to do that? We can't just leave the city without permission. I'll try to help you. After all, I owe a squat George friend for saving my life. Are you really going to do that for us? Let's sort out this mess first, then we'll work something out. Thank you, Freya. Well, that's all I had to say. The consequences of our past actions are getting heavier. Things are beginning to get on top of me. And now it's even harder to tell friends from enemies. That's precisely why I wanted to speak with you. Mind your step, I may not be there to protect you. Don't trust too much. Don't trust too much those who are even remotely involved in the case, or else you get yourselves killed. Do I look like a philanthropist that would let his guard down to anyone? I was being ironic, of course. Sure. The thing is, that you two are like a tornado, sucking the wrong people in. That being said, I can't tell you about the case, but I won't refuse to answer direct questions. I cannot compromise my professional integrity, you know. Thank you, Freya. Alright, how about showing her some evidence we found? Good idea. Okay. Alright. What can you tell us about the burned thumbs of the victim and the jars that we found in the room? Oh, you managed to get in. I guess you took advantage of your friend's influence. Last time he spoke, he wanted to kill you. Imagine that. Wasn't it the same for you? Touché. Maybe that's why nobody ever collected the evidence. Turns out we have guardian angels in heaven. And apparently the report you stole from me says that the only fingerprints on the jars belong to the victim. What? It can't be. Pandora is probably wearing gloves so that he didn't leave any fingerprints. Anything? We now know that Andrew tried to fight back. Still, the wax has been poured onto his face only. Right where Pandora wanted it. How is that possible? Hera is right. At least it's one step forward. Several fingerprints of the victim were found in the container used to disfigure him. Sure. I'm sorry, I have nothing to say about that. Okay. Nothing? Okay. Why showing me a shoe? Because this shoe allowed us to understand who the victim was and what he was doing here. I'm impressed, I must say. So you managed to profile him despite his Aqua OS personal file being protected. We're just good at our job. Let me guess, you want me to give you access to all the footage from the island? Actually, it will be pretty useless since the cameras are monitoring only areas unrelated to the murder. You might be able to see who damaged the statue though. I don't think it happened recently, and I highly doubt that it's related to the case anyway. I'm afraid you're right. Still, those cameras are really important. Why so? This place is huge, complicated, and with maze-like spaces. Only someone with deep knowledge of the area would know where the cameras are not installed. Damn, that's true. Maybe we should reconsider this option. Nothing? Okay. This explains why you got here before I arrived. Why does it read 9:30 PM? The victim was dead much earlier. We don't know yet, but we assume that something went wrong and Pandora had to act sooner than planned. But nevertheless, he left no trace of flaw of any kind, not to mention that we have no witnesses. The curfew on the island is at 8:30 PM, isn't it? Maybe that's the reason. Regardless, I'm sure the key to solving this case is in this note and what forced our dear Pandora to act quickly. People got tired of being exploited and decided to riot. What's wrong with that? Some of these people who are exploited had a deep relationship with the victim. So you think this situation fueled his desire for revenge? Whatever the reason, these people are crucial to understanding the reason behind what happened. No. Do I have this? No. Oh, I haven't shown this yet. Unlike 6 years ago, the victim has some cuts on his arm. What do you think about it? Easy. He instinctively raised the arm to protect his face when the killer pushed him against the window. Only one arm is wounded though, and I already know that he was blinded by wax. Oh, hi Captain Romeo. The wax had to be poured when Pandora and the victim were face to face though. Yeah, you missed quite a fair bit. Yeah, and unless he had been drugged, it would have been impossible to pour the wax, turn him around and push him out of the window without any reaction. And we know there are fingerprints on the columns, suggesting he actually reacted. That's right, no trace of narcotics or similar stuff in his body. Such a tangled situation. Maybe you should try a less linear thinking approach. Please Freya, explain yourself. I'd rather let you work it out for yourselves, and you'll soon see why. Well, at this point you should be able to understand the dynamics of the case. Let's say that we can make assumptions now. I think we should speak again to... Oh, well, something has happened again. What the? It came from inside the building. Let's move. No, you stay here. Leave it to the officers. I'll make sure to let you in when they are done. Come on, Hera. Yeah, let's go. You'll be arrested for interfering with the police. Do you realize that? So stubborn. Oh shit. Oh my god. That's Mr. Hope. How the hell did he manage to kill him in the middle of a corridor? He resorted to murder a crippled man like him. What a monster. I was going to say I'm probably going to end it. I'm going to end it, but then now this happened. I'm like, okay. Well, let's continue, I guess. A letter? It's addressed to us. Is some kind of sick joke? Is that bastard addressing us directly now? Letter from Pandora. Infant Hargreaves painted on the canvas of life. Death hits the shell, yet does no harm to the soul of the artwork. An insane game which stems from an unappreciated mind and flows through the decades. The code of the sun is in the hands of the shameless lover, ruled by a fate that dragged her down to the mediocrity of the abyss. The code of the moon lies in the misplaced thoughts of the father, victim and perpetrator of a sick game. The hand, the wicked symbol of humanity, is hidden in the lost memories of cursed days, where blood-favored confetti are slowly drowning. What the? Another puzzle. Pandora risks getting caught on camera only to drag the body here and deliver the letter? I'm getting tired of these stupid games. How much longer would that sadistic rat waste our time? No wounds or any sign of struggle, and no visible effects of poisoning either. So what's the cause of death here? Why did the killer drag him here, in plain sight? This place is covered in security cameras. I don't know, and I'm afraid we don't have time to find out either. The police are coming, let's move. Go watch the perimeter, now! And make sure you get all the footage from the surveillance cameras in the area. Yes, sir! What are you doing here? Do you want to get arrested instead of that monster? We just took the opportunity and... Come with me now. But... Don't answer back, there's an order. And give me that letter already, or you'll spend the rest of your life in jail. It's addressed to us, you still have the letter. I won't say it again. Do as he says, Mordred. Is that all? What do you expect? Proof of our guilt? Don't be stupid, I just have to make sure you're not the next victims. Pandora never planned on killing us. He actually seems to be enjoying the chase. Please, this is not about rivalry in a superhero comic. This is real life, Hera, and the killer is taking an increasing interest in you. Some might say you're in league with him or that you have something to hide. Excuse me? Some colleagues of mine are starting to think that you are misleading the investigation to prevent Pandora from being arrested. Are you sure that's coming from one of your colleagues? Don't be silly. I asked you to come here. And that's what makes me think that you agree with them. How long are you going to fight each other? Doesn't matter what I think. I just want to understand the meaning of this damn letter, right now. I can't say for sure, but I have the feeling that it has something to do with what happened 6 years ago. What made you come up with that? these elements he's referring to. I've seen them before, and this is the proof. Those stupid drawings we found years ago are connected to the letter. Exactly, and I'm confident that the codes he's talking about have something to do with the people on this island. I agree, but what are they supposed to mean? And what's their purpose? Probably they will lead us to the place where you were locked up, which was never found. That place again? While revisiting the past, we stopped right before that to spare you the... Wait, is he helping us then? I don't know, it might be a trap, but I think it's worth following this lead. Anyway, killing Code was pretty masochistic, and it could jeopardize Pandora's entire plan. As far as we know, it could be a trick to mislead us into following a different path. And let's not forget about those symbols under the drawings, which are probably connected to these codes. We'll have more answers when I get access to the security footage, which you'll be kind enough to show us, right? Don't push it, Mordred. We're all hanging by a thread. Don't forget it. Do you really think that we're going to solve this mess by being cautious and following your stupid protocol? You're never going to arrest him without us, so stop lecturing us. We haven't even solved the first murder, and now another victim popped up. At this rate, we might lose track of the case very soon. I think this is a good moment for taking stock. Let's take this whole thing from the top. Alright, well, let's make it quick. Wait, can I? Save. Yeah. Okay, let me see whether this works. Well, I think I'll just end it here for today. Okay, yeah, it works. That's good. Yeah, yeah, definitely does. Yeah, I mean, I would have continued if we were close, but it definitely doesn't feel like we're going to be close to the end of that. So I'm going to stop it here for today, because especially since it's already been 2 hours. So yeah, a lot of things, a lot of, like, you get to see like the past case that kind of brought about where they are right now, which is interesting for sure. So I definitely want to see how that plays out. Get to see more of that later on, next time, I would say. And see exactly how they had, I guess, quote unquote, their downfall, if we could call it that. But yeah, yeah. I was gonna say a bit of a shorter stream, but it's 2 hours. 2 hours is like the standard length. Yeah. So anyway, thanks everyone for tuning into the stream. Appreciate you guys hopping in. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks to the VOD viewers who will watch this as well. Hope you guys will enjoy this do. And yeah, I'm like really interested to see where this goes. I assume that we're going to finish this chapter next week, and then probably go to the next chapter, which I believe is the final chapter as well. So yeah, that'll be something alright. But yeah, anyway, I'm not going to dwell too long. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you next week to see where this case leads and the conclusion of it and stuff like that. Anyway, until then, stay safe, wash your hands, all that fun stuff, and I will see you next week. Goodbye!